Mixed martial arts. Mixed martial arts? How do we like our martial arts? Well, we like them on Saturdays in the Emerald City of Seattle, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, how you doing, boys and girls? I am Jed Meshew of MMA Fighting.com. I'm also producing, and I think I actually pulled this all off. I think I did it, which is the first time we've done it without problems. So we love that for us. And as you see on the other side of the screen with me, that is Alexander Cayley, also of MMAfighting.com, a terrific website. And we are here, ladies and gentlemen, to talk to you about UFC Seattle, RAF 7, PFL Pittsburgh, and whatever the heck y'all want to talk about. So I think we are effectively live. AK, I believe we got off. This is the first time we've done it. Way to go, us.
I see comments coming in. Seems like people are talking about a live show that's happening right now, Jed.
Hey, look, third time's the charm. We struggled a bit, but we've learned, we've improved, and now here we are as we dive into the return of Israel Adesanya. AK, weigh-ins wrapped up just moments ago, which is why we're a little bit late. Had to take care of some business behind the scenes there. Anything to note from the weigh-ins?
No, nothing. I mean, I'm a little disappointed. They had the box of shame / redemption like looming quite large by the scale, and I'm like, oh, they know something. They know something. Like we got some offenders on here. You know, of course, everyone always a little nervous around a Macy Barber weigh-in. She had some health problems. You know, so she had some stuff out of her control, and she did not show up in the first hour. Now, that wasn't weird in Seattle. This is not Las Vegas. I believe they were just using a traditional sort of 2-hour window. You guys know the Vegas one now is like, you know, they want everyone to show in the first hour. And if you miss, you get that second hour with, you know, clearance from the commission. I think this was just flat. This was just like 2 hours and then maybe another extra hour if they had missed in the second hour. That's how it used to be. Doesn't matter. Didn't come into play. Macy Barber showed up like shortly after 1 o'clock Eastern time. So it wasn't that much drama. She made championship weight 125. And 6'3" lightweight Ignacio Bahamondes, who missed weight once long time ago. It did take some time, but also showed up on championship weight at 155. So we're all good, guys, so far. No drama. Again, you never want to rule anything out, as Jose always says. And let's not forget that Macy did withdraw from that, you know, that Aaron Blanchfield fight that one time, literally as we thought they were going to walk out for the fight. But knock on wood, guys, none of that happening. And we just get a nice 13 fights that we've been promised.
I love that. AK, I'm going to do a little behind the scenes, in front of the scenes. I don't know if you've done it, but can we send a tweet that the show is live? Because I forgot to do that.
Already done. Already, people have seen this tweet.
Freaking professional.
Someone has commented on, I don't know if they're watching the show now. Mara Chantal on Twitter says, let's go. Drop your questions and get ready for UFC Seattle.
Let's do. And you know what, AK? Let's go ahead and get ready for UFC Seattle. I've solo screened me as I'm going to intro us in to the big event this weekend. So there are 3, 4 if you want to get into boxing as well, but 3 major combat sports events this weekend that we are going to talk about in general, though we won't dive deep into the other 2. The biggest of them is UFC Seattle and the return of Israel Adesanya as he takes on Joe Pyfer in maybe, possibly, potentially the last fight of his career. Who knows, AK? It could be any number of things. And so, AK, I want to throw this to you as we start here. And the question is going to be simple as I put up a banner. Can Israel Adesanya beat Joe Pyfer? You know about beating Joe Pyfer. Can he beat Joe Pyfer this weekend? Or on a 3-fight losing streak, is this the functional end of Israel Adesanya?
He has no chance. Israel Adesanya. He's going to lose. He's too old, Jed. He can't win a fight anymore. He's washed. He's washed up. I want to answer this question as plainly as possible. People are tired of AK's fence sitting and waffling and equivocating. I'm just going to bring the heat here and say 0 chance. Joe Pyfer guaranteed to win. Put that. I think he's a minor underdog, depending if you look still like plus. It's almost a pick 'em, but I think some places are like plus 150. I guess is what he is on average. Just pick Joe Pyfer, guys. He's going to run through Israel Adesanya. I don't know. I'll be back to normal now. I'll say. Excuse me, guys. Sorry, let me clear my throat here and not blow your ear.
I liked it better, honestly, when you were just being a big, bold man,
a
big, bold man
well,
standing on a corner.
Of course, people know I like to give both sides here, but I understand the reason for why you're asking it so plainly. Like we'll get into the nitty gritty of the fight, but we are seriously at a crossroads here with Israel Adesanya. I mean, you could say that we were in the fight with Nasruddin Imavov as well, but that had a different flavor to it because that still felt like, well, if Izzy wins, he's still in the title picture. I don't think that's how we feel about this fight. I think if Izzy beats Joe Pyfer, I mean, again, obviously just based on his name value, his previous success, 2-time middleweight champion. Of course, you never rule him out of somehow working his way to like one last shot at UFC gold, but he's kind of not talking about that anymore. That's really not what he's chasing. And that kind of, and he's been in combat sports for a long time. You add in the kickboxing as well. So that kind of conversation is why like, we have to look beyond what we know about them skill wise, because if this fight had been booked even a year ago, I think we all would have said, well, Izzy's going to run through him. We would have thought the line of him being like a minus 150 favorite, or whatever, was like insane. We'd be like, wow, he's got to be like minus 300, minus 400. And I'm sure some people still feel that way. I bet there's plenty who have, are willing to put a lot of money on Izzy. I think it's crazy that they're getting him such good odds right now. But we do have to ask these things. Is he on that BJ Penn, Tony Ferguson, Henry Cejudo? I know Cejudo talked about it this week. Is that the arc he's on, where we know he's skilled? I bet if you go see Israel Adesanya in training, he's probably tearing it up, probably looks spectacular. He's probably had the best camp ever, guys. But you really only have so many fights in you as a professional fighter, whether you're a boxer, whether you're a kickboxer, whether you're an MMA fighter. You really only have so many. And is he past his limit? This is a big, I think, step down competition level of competition wise from Imavov and obviously, DDP, Sean Strickland. But again, is he only losing because he's facing elite competition, or has he really lost so much of a step that it's time for the Joe Pyfers of the world to take his spot? I don't know. So to answer your question, yes, he can beat him, but I understand why there's a lot of a sentiment that this might be it. This might be it for the old last stylebender.
Yeah, man. Look, as you said, we only have so many fights in us, and by us I mean the royal us, not me. I've had all the fights I'm having.
You have a lot more left, I feel.
No. These are all the fights I intend to be having. I've had them, but Izzy's had a lot of them. He has 80 some odd, give or take a few, kickboxing, Muay Thai bouts, 6 boxing bouts, and this will be his 30th MMA fight on Saturday, which is honestly insane for him to have had such a prolific kickboxing career. A lot of kickboxers do, but to then stack 30 MMA fights on top of that, that's pretty incredible. And so, AK, that leads me to the other, the first question is really just sort of a play on the B Joe Pyfer thing, which is, it's easy. It's low hanging fruit.
Well done.
This, I think, is the more salient question that I have, and you alluded to it a little bit. What happens if Israel Adesanya loses on Saturday? Because I wrote about it last night. Henry Cejudo was in a similar position. He suggested that this might be the retirement fight for Izzy if he loses. And so, AK, I ask you, is this do or die for Adesanya's MMA career? If he loses to Joe Pyfer on Saturday, do you think it is the last time we see the last stylebender in the UFC octagon?
It very well could be, but you won't know by the end of this weekend. You will not know. I just can't see him just laying down the gloves in Seattle. It sounds so disrespectful to Seattle. Seattle's a wonderful city. I'm just saying, I can't. I don't think he would do it even if this fight was in New Zealand or if this fight was in Australia. I actually still don't think he would do it. He doesn't strike me as the person who's going to make that decision in the moment. I don't think he's planning to. That's the only other reason he would do it if he's planning to, because I don't think he has that mind of considering that as a possibility. Oh, big shout out to Dave Santine, by the way, gifting another 10 MMA Fighting.
Shout out Dave.
Yeah, shout out to Dave as always. I hope you got one, guys. I hope you got one. the best. But I think you'll see, you'll have some talk after. I'm sure he'll do some shows. He's never shied away from a loss, so that I'm curious about. Will he do? He's popped up on Ariel's show before, right after losing. Will he? He's done interviews with other outlets. Will he do a chat with MMA Fighting? I don't know. Or will he, lose and kind of quietly just chill for like a couple weeks? I don't know. It's hard to tell with him. I will say though, no matter what he says within, following a loss, whether it's on Sunday or a week after or 3 weeks after, it won't be a confirmation of retirement. It just won't. I think he's going to hang around for a bit. I think it could be like 6 months from now when we get this sort of thoughtful IG post, a little like, tasteful black and white photo of him, and some caption like all the roads I've been down. I wish Jose was here. He'd come up with some cool anime reference. I'm sure if he quotes some anime, that's probably what's going to happen. Some anime reference that'll go over my head, so I won't like understand the post. But I guess the real ones will know. But I can see it like 6 months from now, a year from now. Because during that time, he'll probably be considering his options. He'll be fielding offers. He'll probably have to talk with the UFC. The UFC will probably ask him, are you continuing your career? Do you want us to find you another fight as soon as possible? So there's going to be a lot of that going on. And it won't be like 6 months or a year from now when he gives us some idea of whether his career will continue. So yes, could UFC Seattle, could a loss make this his last fight? Yes. Will he retire this weekend? Strong no. It just won't happen right away.
I definitely agree with that take. I don't think we're not going to get an in-cage laying down of the gloves. I do not think. I think it also maybe depends a little bit. If he gets knocked out, maybe he takes some time and says, you know what, that's enough for me. I guess we'll find out if it happens, because it may not. As you pointed out, our odds makers currently have Adesanya as a favorite, -150, Joe Pyfer +120 on the comeback. And I think we know how Israel Adesanya wins this fight. If he does get his hand raised on Saturday, it's probably going to be a classic Izzy performance. He controls the range. He never really lets Pyfer get going and just sort of picks him apart at distance using his obviously exceptional striking skills. But AK, what about on the other side of the ball? Because I think everyone knows Pyfer has the power, right? He can come in, he can lay the boom. And if that happens, okay, that happened, right? Izzy's a little slower. He's a little older. His durability's gone down. It is what it is. But is there another way? And so can Joe Pyfer win this other than just getting an early finish? Can he show us something new? Are you anticipating or hoping to see some new angles to the Joe Pyfer game on Saturday?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I would hope we see something new, because I think we all know he's got power. He could finish Izzy. He could just catch Izzy with one good shot and put him away, and it wouldn't surprise us. It'd be a big win for him. It would firmly put him in the top 10, I think. The UFC rankings for sure. Ours, again, it would depend how much you feel like dropping Izzy, because you might just drop Izzy a ton and then put Joe ahead of him, and that could end up at like the 11, 12, 13 spot. I don't know. We've had a bit of fluctuation in middleweight in the last few months. So yes, that would be the most predictable path for Joe Pyfer. And I don't know how much it would tell us about him. He would certainly have a nice feather in his cap. I mean, you beat Izzy, I think, at any point in his career. I think it's something you should be very proud of. I think it would look very good, something he can always look back on. But does it recalibrate our expectations of Joe Pyfer and say, oh, wow, this guy could definitely be a future champion? Like, wow, he just beat. And I don't know if that's the case if he wins in that fashion. It's not a bad thing. I'm not saying like, oh, he should not try to knock Israel Adesanya out. Like, that'd just be stupid if he had that strategy. But if he were able to outpoint Izzy in a 25-minute fight, like, I can't even picture it. I'm not even sure how it would happen. Just like outboxing him or something. Or again, maybe losing the volume battle, but scoring a knockdown here and there, landing the harder shots. Maybe that's how he wins it. It's very hard for me to picture. Even if we consider that Israel Adesanya has like lost a step and is a little more hittable than before. Man, I just don't know if a Pyfer could win a decision. But I am curious, and that, I know it sounds sort of counterintuitive, that would be more impressive to me than him just catching Izzy, right? I guess that's the unexpected thing. And also, like, we're looking down the road and they're probably thinking, hey, Joe probably has some tough 5 rounders ahead of him if he ever is going to become a UFC title contender. And he's got to start. I know he beat Gastelum in a 15-minute fight, but if he can win a 5-rounder against a 2-time UFC champion, damn, that'd be impressive, man. Might not be great for the highlight reel, but it'd be impressive.
I agree. if he just blows the doors off Izzy, I will be disappointed, right? Because that'll just say more about Izzy than about
Yes,
Pyfer.
that's the narrative, right? That's the narrative coming out of
Mhm.
Saturday. It's like, oh, Pyfer gets a little credit and just Izzy's just washed, right? Izzy's done, right?
Exactly. Like if we need to learn something new, and so I hope that if Pyfer does win, he can, maybe win a 5-round fight or get a late stoppage in a fight in which he is looking good, if that's going to happen, because then we can feel we're behind him. But AK, just one more topic on this fight before we get to a prediction and move on here. What do you make of Joe Pyfer coming in this week, right? Because he has, I forget who the interview is with, but he's talked a lot about finding faith and how this has made him a more grounded individual. And do you have any reticence, any concern that, like, okay, maybe his mind is not fully focused on the task at hand? Or do you think this is good and that he's, learning how to be a better person and that will manifest itself better in the cage? Anything that you've taken away from Joe Pyfer in the build to this fight?
Yeah, I mean, I like that kind of talk. I'm a somewhat spiritual person myself. I'm not like the most formally religious person, but I like a little bit of spiritual talk.
Would
I
you
feel like
say your life took a 360?
a 360, just turn it back around all the way around.
Turned all the way back to the same space.
You know what? Listen, people are making fun of Joe for saying that. But listen, yes, he came 360, but the Joe that came back and completed that trip is a different person.
It's
Okay,
true.
Jed,
Every circle around the sun, we're all different.
Exactly.
It's just it's a deeply funny thing to say.
He's in the same place, but he's different. Don't you see? He's in the same place, but he's different. I don't know. Again, like I said, I think that kind of talk, again, whatever it is that puts you, on a certain path, that brings like peace to you, that gets you on track, whether it's religion or like a diet or like a new job or a new group of friends or a new partner or something like that. Like whatever it is, if you're channeling that in a positive way, I'm never going to question it. So I'm not going to roll my eyes and be like, oh wow, he's so much more spiritual now. That's going to work. Like, I don't know. Maybe it is good for him. Maybe it is good for him. Maybe he ends up going the Rory McDonald route and like just can't hurt people anymore. That's not going to be good.
That was one of the wilder things that's happened.
Really sad.
I found God and I don't want to hurt people. Sir, you're in the wrong profession. Good on you. Happy for you, but
I don't want to
learn to code.
Learn to code. Yeah. I don't want MMA anymore. So that is always something to worry about for sure. If you're like a Joe Pyfer fan and you kind of like that more rough edged Joe Pyfer. But no, I don't know. I don't know how much that's going to affect his actual performance, but hopefully it's a good thing just for him in life in general and just good for his career in a positive way. I don't know.
I will say it was not what I was anticipating, because Joe Pyfer's been very outspoken in a lot of ways that I disagree with. And for him to come out and just he has a very different energy this fight week, and I don't know what to make of it, and we'll find out Saturday. I don't know if it's good. I don't know if it's bad. I don't know if it has no bearing on how he fights, but it was very surprising. I think the thing that surprised me by far the most this week what was that. So AK, we've talked about the stakes. We talked about some of the X's and O's, but let's give the rundown. Who do you think wins the main event at UFC Seattle and why?
I may have been exaggerating a little bit at the top of the show, Jed, when I said Izzy has no chance.
No chance. That is a quote.
You can clip that for the Instagram. That's fine. I'm really finding it hard to pick against Izzy. I think I'm scared because I haven't looked back at my Imavov prediction. I don't know. Every now and then with one of these guys who are a bit long in the tooth, like Tyron Woodley and Ferguson, you guys can look at some of my predictions for like their last fight or second last fight in the UFC. At some point I drew a line where I was like, I cannot pick this person anymore. No matter what happens, I don't care who they're fighting. I will just not pick this person to win a fight anymore. I don't think I got there with Izzy because Imavov is so good. I was like, this doesn't, losing to Imavov doesn't mean he's cooked. This might be the one. If I haven't written it before, you guys will see this Saturday morning in my predictions piece. I will say, if he cannot beat Joe Pyfer, no disrespect to Joe, it's just I just can't pick Izzy to win a fight anymore. It just might mean he's just lost that, whatever it takes, whatever it is that gets a fighter over the top, regardless of who they're fighting. So I am picking Izzy. I don't know if this is the last time I'm doing that. I hope it's not. But skill for skill, experience-wise, so many things are just in his favor. I have to put aside narratives. I have to put aside, I guess, emotion in a way, and just say, well, who do I think is the better fighter? And I think it's Israel Adesanya. So I'll go Izzy by decision.
Well, I'm going to disagree with you very slightly and say a little disrespect to Joe. Just a little bit of disrespect to Joe. If Izzy loses to Joe Pyfer, this will be the worst loss of his MMA career, I think by a pretty good margin. And it will, again, I think if it happens, it's because he gets caught early. You know, he relies on reflexes in defense a lot. And as those fade, durability goes down. And he is sort of intimated that the eye poke from Evov played a factor, and people certainly suggest that, and maybe it did. But also, you know, like he's just getting older, and if you get caught, maybe that's a problem. Joe Pyfer, I think, is a limited fighter, frankly. He does not have that many ideas. If Izzy can survive the first couple of rounds, I think he should figure out whatever problems Pyfer could pose and cruise to a decision here. And so I think, I've been wrong, but I think we are in store for a perhaps uninspired, but a classic Israel Adesanya win. 49, 46, 50, 45s. Just, he never really gets cooking. You know, he doesn't get into fourth, fifth gear, but he stays just in third gear, and he never lets Pyfer get going whatsoever. So a very intriguing main event matchup. And quite frankly, a fairly intriguing co-main event matchup as well, with a similar sort of build to it, in that you have a former champion on a bit of a losing streak taking on somebody that the promotion has been behind, a young up-and-comer. I'm talking Alexa Grasso versus Maycee Barber 2, a rematch of, I believe their first fight was in 2021, AK. That was the last time Alexa Grasso has lost a fist fight. She has been on a 7-fight win streak since that moment. And now she gets an opportunity for revenge against a champion, you know, if a former champion. This would be the biggest feather in her cap by a wide margin. AK, you said she made weight. Apparently she made championship weight. Did I also? You've muted yourself, so I'm going to unmute you.
She made 125, so I said yes, just confirming. Yes.
Just a statement weight make for one Maycee Barber. And so the question to lead us off in our co-main event discussion, AK, is the future finally here?
Ian Machado Gary?
He's not here, but Maycee Barber, also the future,
correct,
could be here. Is she going to be here against Alexa Grasso on Saturday?
I'm just going to say, I think Maycee Barber is a much better fighter than people give her credit for. Now, I'm not saying she's the most skilled fighter. I'm not saying that. I know people love to, rag on some Maycee fights because, some of them get a little sloppy. I understand it. Like some of her fights, which I think she's an exciting fighter, but I get it. There's been some fights that are like exciting in the sense that, like, defense goes out the window. And both women are just kind of hitting that turbo button and wailing on each other, and that's fun. And I guess when she tries to be more technical, even when she wins that way, I guess it's not as visually appealing. But I've always said this about Maycee. I think she's like a legitimate fighter, and I don't say that about everyone in the UFC. I've always said there's a distinction between like good martial artists and good fighters, and like she might not be the most amazing martial artist, but she goes in there generally to hurt and to finish. She's not like the most amazing finisher. I think she's only had one in the past few years. But I believe she is going in there to finish, especially when she's facing an opponent that's willing to kind of be in there, and bang with her. When she's not, you get some dull fights. It happens. It's her fault. It's her opponent's fault, whatever. But I've always thought that she's the kind of person who goes in there to finish. So that is what I like about Maycee. I think it's why she's had the success she's had. I think even against, fighters who are on paper more skilled than her, she's a pretty good athlete for the division, and she's just willing to come forward and throw. That matters. Like we talk all the time about the criteria, damage and aggression are like the top criteria, and she's always trying to do that. So I think that's what gives her a chance against Grasso. I know she's favored, which is a little strange, considering how the first fight went, and again, considering some of the criticisms I just mentioned that people have of Maycee's style. But yes, the future could be here. I mean, this is, if she wins, I know we're going to talk about this in a bit, but she shouldn't immediately get the next title shot. I think we really need to see Natalia Silva and Valentina Shevchenko settle their business first, but she can certainly wait for the winner of that fight. unless they give Valentina another immediate rematch or something. But if she loses, but
Maybe.
the future
Maybe.
it's not quite here, Jed, but it's knocking on the door, man. It is knocking on the door, and I will be saying the future is. I'll put it in my drafts. The future is here. Tweet if she wins on Saturday.
The future is tomorrow, is what you're saying, which is a great James Bond film title. If you're out there looking, Broccoli family, the future is tomorrow, because I agree. If she wins, she's not getting to fight next. I think probably if she wins, we're looking at an Aaron Blanchfield fight happening. So that's interesting. But AK, you pointed out, Maycee Barber is a betting favorite, -180. Alexa Grasso +145. Again, Grasso won their first fight, but AK, to your point, or to address the point you made, that fight was 5 years ago. Maycee Barber was a whopping 21, 22 years old. One of those two, I'm not really sure. Because in 2021, I believe, was when they fought. Have I made that up, or am I correct?
No, I think you're right. And I've seen people pointing out the first fight, was it in the Apex?
I have no idea.
I'm going to check.
Off
No,
the
it
top of my
can't
head.
have been.
No,
Right?
it's 258.
It was a pay-per-view. It was a pay-per-view. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. I saw someone.
Oh, 2021. I guess there's a world. It was in the Apex, because that was.
Oh,
yeah.
COVID.
Yep.
Post,
those during those times. So, yep, in the Apex.
Oh,
for 258, the Usman Burns fight.
Okay, so some people are saying. So I'm curious. I know we haven't gone to pick a winner. We're not picking a winner just yet. But do you think that the bigger cage? Who does it favor? Because some people are saying that's another reason they like Barber more. They think it favors Barber.
I think that would favor Grasso a little bit more.
Huh.
In that, if you go back and watch the first fight, I think it's hard to take too much from that fight. It was so long ago. Grasso is not the same, but probably closer to the same. Barber is very much improved over the past 5 years. But even in that fight, you saw Grasso maintain the distance a lot better. Barber was coming off the knee injury, and she has spoken about that, said that probably affected sort of her approach and the team's ideas about that fight. So I understand, AK, why the odds are where they are. I do think, despite the history, that Barber should be the favorite, in part also because of what's going on with Grasso. She obviously has the spectacular title win over Valentina Shevchenko, submission of the year, one of the great upsets of all time, a personal tragedy for me, but we tip our cap and give her full props. Then the two ensuing fights, the middle one, which is very weird because she both should have won and should have clearly lost that fight, which is a Schrodinger's title fight that I don't understand how that can be true, but it is. And then the trilogy fight where she was really, really non-competitive. And she followed that up with a loss to Natalia Silva, the number one contender. So, through some lenses, you can look and say, hey, man, she lost to the two best fighters in the weight class. No shame in that. But she's also just looked a little more listless. And so, AK, the question from the Grasso side of things for me is, what's going on with her? How can she sort of get back to the vibe, the energy, the feeling of when she won the flyweight title?
How long has it been since the Natalia Silva fight? What are we looking at here? It's been a pretty good amount of time. So she hasn't fought since last May. She was supposed to fight. She was supposed to fight in January. What happened? She withdrew from the Namajunas fight. Do we know why?
No, I don't remember why.
What was the reason? Were people just rescheduled? I can't remember. People in the comments, I'll read. I'm sure people will shout.
She withdrew. I don't know. I don't think she was rescheduled.
Either way, she's had a healthy amount of time off. I don't know what she really needs to do. I don't think, there's some parallels, of course, with the main event, right? Like I don't, former champion, she's on a winless streak, and how she's been in the game for a long time. It's crazy to think she's 32. I still remember when she first was coming up to Invicta and just was this, like, I think 24, like 25-year-old wonderkind, and had a lot of potential to come to the UFC. Just need to get to the right weight class. And now she's 32. She's 32 years young. So, but that's a lot of mileage. It's a lot of mileage. So is she at that stage? I don't think so. Sorry, guys. I don't think so. I got to fix my throat. I don't think so is what I was trying to say in a much more powerful voice. I think she's still as good as she ever was. I just think, 3 fights with Valentina Shevchenko, but the last 2 fights with Valentina Shevchenko, she was very competitive in the second one. Third one, just something went haywire, had no answer for Shevchenko's wrestling, and looked really bad. And then Natalia Silva fight, very forgettable loss. I mean, good performance by Natalia Silva, not a fight any of us will be rewatching anytime soon. She was just like completely ineffectual. She was just outstruck and outworked by I think a younger, better fighter, if we're being honest. And I don't put Macy in that sphere yet, even though I know she's on a very impressive win streak. I know I just said the nice things about her from before, but I don't think. I think just from taking a little bit of step back in the rankings, you're going to see a lot of the Grasso that sort of we kind of grew to know and love, and that worked her way up to a contender. So it's going to be a competitive fight. It's definitely a competitive fight for sure. But I am very optimistic. We don't see the kind of I'm very optimistic we actually see some offense from Grasso for the first time since the second Shevchenko fight. There you go. That's like the broadest way I can put it.
I mean, I hope so, because if she doesn't show real offense, she's going to get run over by Barber. And I would like this to be a competitive fight because I don't know, we always want competitive fights. I'm interested to see how things shake out either way. I think if Barber wins, I don't know, but it feels like we might be talking, hey, it's time to book the Blanchfield fight as a clear-cut title eliminator and make Blanchfield take it under those circumstances, despite the issues they previously had with the booking. So we'll see how that goes. But AK, let's get to the brass tacks of it all. Saturday night co-main event. Who's walking out the winner?
I feel like I'm setting myself up for failure here. I should tell you, I am not betting these top. I don't think I'm betting these top two fights. Maybe I'll do an over thing.
I have a bet on Adesanya.
Yeah, I know you got Izzy. I know you're taking. I think you're taking going the distance here.
I have taken the over 2.5 for the climb this week.
This is your climb bet.
I'm still considering a Barber bet. If I would like her price to lower, but she's still in consideration. But I don't know if I'm going to pull the trigger on that. My instinct is no on Barber.
So as I said, I'm going with Grasso. I'm going with Izzy. I'm going with both of the former champions to win. Izzy, the reasons I've explained already. That one's a little bit sketchier again, but I think Grasso, like I said, Shevchenko and Natalia Silva might be the two best flyweights in the world. Shevchenko certainly number one, and Natalia Silva might be the second best, depending where you land on, like, Manuel Fiorello, right? Or Grasso. If maybe you still rank Grasso highly. I don't know. Well, I'm not over Natalia Silva. But my point is, I still think Grasso is elite. I understand why people think she is kind of done just based on the last two performances. But I think those are the kind of losses that she's going to learn a lot from. And those two losses were very different, by the way. Let's not pretend. Yes, she was kind of neutralized and did a little in both, but for very different reasons. Valentina Shevchenko completely grounding her, giving her literally nothing to work with. Natalia Silva just couldn't figure her out. 15 minutes, just couldn't figure her out. Younger, quicker fighter, a very good striker, and I just think the better fighter won there. I don't know if I hold that so much against Grasso. Like, oh my gosh, what is Grasso doing? Like, she's cooked. Like, no, she fought a better fighter. It happens. So she's gonna take away from that. She's gonna take away from the Valentina Shevchenko trilogy. I think those experiences have made her stronger. And you could certainly say the same about Macy Barber and her current win streak. I'm sure she's got a lot of positive vibes going on and learned a lot from those things as well. But I still have Grasso a tier above. I think I still keep her firmly in that top 4 of the flyweight division. And I hope, it'd be great if Barber shocks me and just breaks in the top 5 because she's been trying to do it forever. But I am leaning towards Grasso to win on scorecards.
Let me pull myself up. I'm going to take Barber to win. I think we haven't really talked about it. I think the grappling is the part that concerns me. Grasso seems to have, I think she's just stagnated. I think she kind of is the fighter she's always been, but she's never been a great defensive wrestler, and that seems to have really fallen off. The third fight with Val, she had much more success defending takedowns against Shevchenko and the other ones, and just sort of got tackled a whole lot. And Barber's going to be in her face. I don't think Grasso has the firepower to keep her off. And I think Barber can get enough takedowns, put enough pressure on to win. Maybe 29-28, but I think there's also the possibility of 30-27s here. Neither one are big finishers and both are fairly durable, so I do anticipate this going long, which is why I'm climbing with it, AK. If I was a better host and I tried to figure out how to do this and was incapable, I would have pulled up a cool little graphic here to flash the rest of the card. But AK, let me run you down the rest of the main card from UFC Seattle here. Michael Chiesa taking on Nico Price in his retirement fight. Julian Erosa taking on, I believe, Larry Douglas is making his UFC debut. Maybe I'm mistaken. Don't quote me on that. Mansour Abdul Malik taking on Yusri Belgarwi, I think is how you say that. I'm not certain. And then Terrence McKinney taking on Kyle Nelson in a lightweight contest. AK, looking at the rest of the main card, what other main card fight has drawn your attention? What is the main card fight you're most looking forward to on Saturday?
Good main card. I like the emotion of, I'm going to be crying a little bit when I see Chiesa hang up the gloves, no matter what happens. But I don't know if I'm that interested in the action itself. I am probably sinking my teeth a little bit into Mansour Abdul Malik and Belgari. Mansour is part of that. What's I don't know how to phrase it. We've got these middleweight. We've got these middleweights coming up, Jed. You know how I'm talking about Damian Pinas, Atiba Gauthier. We've got this weird, you know what I'm talking about, these guys who are these very raw 185ers, big finishers. And I feel like
all potential, bundles of potential.
They look great on the scale.
Look great getting off the bus.
There's another guy I'm forgetting. Who's the guy who's fighting? He's coming up. Oh my gosh, I can't remember.
You've named the three I think of.
Maybe he's not 185 though. Okay. Anyway, but yes, you know what I'm saying. There's that, and he's one of them. He's very intriguing talent. Kind of gotten some layups so far. Maybe people are viewing Belgari the same way. I do think like Belgari is potentially dangerous himself, and I wouldn't put him in that group, but I do think he's potentially dangerous himself. So I got my eye on that, both from the potential for a highlight and also, yeah, I'm curious. I do think if Mansour runs through this guy like he did Tricoli, and again, it's a huge difference in competition. I think Yusri is way better than Tricoli. I think if he can get a first round finish or even any finish at all, I'm talking about Mansour, I'll be really impressed. I'll definitely be probably launching him into like the top. There's a lot of good middleweights now. Maybe the top 30. We'll see. I'll see. I'll just see how my rankings look after. But yeah, got my eye on Mansour.
Over ketchup lays, AK per she loves the gloves.
Oh,
it's a real Canadian shot. Yeah, we don't have those.
There's some Canadian convos happening in here. Don't worry about it.
Very, very Canadian convos going on. I mean, I think objectively that's the correct call. That fight is awesome. I'm not as big on Belgari as I am on Abdul Malik, but I think this is a very winnable fight for him. Glory guy got a win over Poatan. That's the sort of dude who, if he can make a real statement here, maybe they get behind. The answer for me, if you watch BTL, if you listen to No Bets Barred, I'm in. I'm all the way in on the Chiesa Price feature bout. Not for good reasons, but because I have a plus 1,300 bet on Michael Chiesa by KO. I cannot tell you how excited I am to watch that man fight tomorrow and try to knock out Nico Price for the second time in like a month, because that would just be awesome. So for me, that's one. But I think you selected the obviously best one. McKinney Nelson will be fun.
Of course.
Larry and Douglas, I think, is a good prospect, or is an okay prospect. So that'll be fun. Big power, Julian Erosa, that should be fun as well. But AK, we've got a lot of prelim fights. Looking at it, there are 7 of them. I'm in charge, so I get to play games. And I want to play a game with each of these fights. It's going to be very simple. We can address them without really having to dive too far into them. And we're going to go to our old friend, Mark Zuckerberg, AK. We're going to go to the Zuck. And very simply, I'm going to run down the list of these fights, and we're going to ask you the question, AK, and interpret it how you feel. I think there's an obvious interpretation. However you feel. The feature prelim bout, Ignacio Bahamondes, Tafik Musayev. Hot or not, AK?
Oh.
Is Bahamondes Musayev hot or not?
That's hot. That is hot. Love me some Musayev. Love me some Ignacio. He made weight. A little bit of concern there because he is coming in for Samuel Sanchez, was actually originally scheduled for this fight. So definitely hot. I
couldn't agree more. That hot. That fight, absolute banger. Hot. Full bars hot. 2 thumbs up. We give that one. How about the other lightweight contest? Chase Hooper versus Lance Gibson, AK. Hot or not?
I'm going to say hot. And Canadian bias. I understand. Shout out to Lance Gibson, Canadian bias. How does Lance keep getting these high profile fight. King Green for his first UFC. I think that was on. I want to say he didn't replace anyone. It was just like booked. It was weird. Do you remember
It was
that?
real weird booking.
It was just booked like during fight week or something, or like 10 days out from the card. Like, oh, by the way, King Green's gonna be on a card and he's fighting.
It felt like King Green really wanted to fight, and this was a guy they could get in on this notice. Yeah,
very strange, very strange. Bellator veteran Lance Gibson Jr. His father, of course, also a pro fighter and a coach. So I'm calling it hot just because I find it so weird. He keeps getting high profile guys. And yes, guys, I'm counting Chase Hooper there because I know he's coming off a loss, but he's like 5-1 as a lightweight. Like he's actually a good lightweight. So I don't know. I hope Lance Gibson is. And he didn't like get embarrassed by King Green either. It took him to a splitty. Like it wasn't like got like clowned, right?
Big. Let me pull up the odds on that because I do think the odds here are just a little too long. Chase Hooper are almost a -300 betting favorite. I'll give this hot, but it's just over the line. You know, like if the boiling temperature of water, we're at a soft boil. This is not a roiling boil here, but just because needs to be said, Lance Gibson, born in Seattle, Washington, is he the real Washingtonian? That's the real Seattleite. I don't know if that's the correct word.
Okay, I like it. Okay,
just throwing it out there. AK moving right on down the list to the heavyweight division. I think Tybura is ranked. So Marcin Tybura, Tyrell Fortune, hot or not?
You think he's ranked? How could you not know? Jed, he is number 14 in our rankings. He is still hanging on to a ranking. That's across all promotions, not just UFC. He is a globally ranked heavyweight. Okay, I'm going to go. I hate to do that. I'm going to go not. Even though, once again, another former Bellator guy in Tyrell Fortune. I'm so intrigued that he's getting this call. Tyrell was, I think, part of that Bellator wrestler initiative. Guys, don't quote me on that. I don't remember if he was
correct.
A Division 3 or Division 2 like standout or something, or JUCO. He was like, collegiate wrestling, not Division 1. I remember, I do believe he was like a collegiate wrestling guy. And they gave him a little bit of a push in Bellator. He never quite made it that far, and he's an okay fighter. It just seems weird. It just really feels weird to see him in the UFC now. I don't know why. It's just a name I'd sort of thought that chance had come and gone. And then I remembered it's the UFC heavyweight division, and there are no restrictions anymore. If you are a big man and you can vaguely swing your fists in a coordinated fashion, they're probably going to sign you up.
AK, I'm trying to pull up our media assets. Actually, you know what? We'll finish the game and then we'll do our media assets for some semi-breaking news. Not really, but semi-breaking news.
Dave Sandine just said he thinks Fortune is rated number 3 American heavyweight by Tapology. I'm trying to think who like 1 and 2. Curtis Blades.
Curtis Blades for sure.
Derek Lewis.
It's probably Derek.
Josh Hockett. Is Josh Hockett?
It's probably Derek Lewis.
Sorry, Derek Lewis.
Frankly,
goodness me.
Tough scenes. I'm gonna go not. This is not hot. This is probably gonna be an awful fight. It's, if we were doing the fights above blank scale, it would technically be a half point because of Tybura, but tough scenes. We go back to the ladies. The women's flyweight contest. Casey O'Neill taking on Gabriela Fernandez. Hot or not, AK?
Hot, because I actually think Gabriela Fernandez is legit. I want to ask you though, Jed. Are we sure Casey O'Neill can't still be a UFC title contender someday? She's only 28 years old.
I was very shocked to learn that when I was doing my research on this card.
She's 28. She's been hindered by injuries. I do feel like health. She's had some losses too, like some legitimate losses. I do feel like injuries have really gotten in the way. I wonder if she's someone who, if she gets her health right, she's really entering her athletic prime now. Like I said, she's only 28. She's entering her athletic prime now. Like 2 years from now, do you think there's a chance it's like, late 2027, early 2028? We're like, wow, Casey O'Neill, the Casey O'Neill story. One time MMA Fighting Rookie of the Year, by the way, Casey O'Neill. Wow, like she's about to fight for the title. We're not ruling her out yet, right?
I would have until I saw that she's 28. And I was like, okay, maybe not. Coming off a long layoff. I'm with you. This is a hot. We're fully in the hot here. Fernandez showing a little bit of promise. I know neither are on like great runs, but I think we're talking about a decent fight. And I'm still, like I said, I would have been out, but I'm not all the way out on Casey O'Neill to make some noise. So give me that. This next one, the light heavyweight division, Navajo Sterling, Bruno Lopez, AK, hot or not?
I think not. I don't know. My apologies to Navajo.
This is cold. This is cold boogers right here.
My apologies, Navajo. He's landing in that range of guys who I just cannot remember anything about his fights.
Correct.
He's an undefeated UFC light heavyweight, 28 years young, just like Casey O'Neill. I don't know. I just cannot. Nothing about him is standing out to me. He's a city kickboxing guy, right?
Sure is.
Okay. So there's like that Izzy.
He's like all the worst parts of Carlos Elberg in one fighter.
Wow. I have nothing to add to that, so I'm sticking with not.
Really like the best. I did Morning Combat this morning, and I was looking at him. AK, have you ever watched the show Mobland?
I've not. I'll look this up. Tell me what I'm looking at.
If you go Google Eddie on Mobland, I think Eddie's the character name. Eddie Harrigan on Mobland, and tell me this dude doesn't kind of look like Navajo Sterling.
Wow. I'm going off the typology pick here. But yes, I'm wow.
Dude, like if Navajo Sterling is not going to get a damn they were good, but in the what actor would play him in the movie, this dude is playing Navajo Sterling in the Navajo Sterling movie.
Mobland, I believe, is also on Paramount Plus. Is that right?
It is on Paramount Plus.
Oh, no, I don't. Is it?
No,
okay.
it is.
Oh, it is. It is. Okay.
It is, and it's a fun show. It's not a good show, but it's a fun show. So
what a tie-in! Hopefully, they tie that in at some point.
They like if Navajo Sterling comes out in like a Mobland attire with Pierce Brosnan in his party, I'll be like, okay, all in on Navajo Sterling, baby. Let's go.
He's 8-0 and 3-0 in the UFC. We should be excited about this.
Dude, he's 4-4 with finishes at light heavyweight. Like if you're a prospect, you got to put dudes down, and he just hasn't.
Not in the UFC.
He is a prospect because he's got some talent. He's with a good camp. He's in a weak division, but he is yet to sparkle. And so, in the words of Marie Kondo, he does not inspire joy.
Oh.
And so I need him to start inspiring some joy.
Have you seen his odds?
I assume they're still quite large. But
minus 700.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to win. Sure. And Bruno Lopez is the kind of dude who does get finished. So maybe this will be Navajo Sterling's first UFC finish. But it is what it is. Just a couple more here. Ricky Simone, Adrian Yanez. Hot or not, AK?
Damn. I mean, this would have been hot. This is so insulting. Like
so hot. Like
2 years ago. This is white hot.
This could have headlined an Apex 2 years ago.
It's a bantamweight bout. It's still hot, man. It's still hot. I like that Ricky's kind of turned things around. Yanez is a mystery to me now. I mean, this is a guy who I once thought was the best boxer in the entire UFC. Like I have that in print. That is, you can find that on MMAfighting.com, guys. I have called this guy the best boxer in the UFC, I think multiple times. So I still want to believe there's something going on there. But this is the bantamweight division, and unfortunately, once you it only gets younger and faster. But I do like this is kind of age and experience appropriate matchmaking. So yeah, it's gonna be a classy fight. And I think it's at the right spot in the card. Like again, 2 years ago, we would have said, how could this not be on the main card? This now feels kind of right. Like it feels kind of like a good way to get us going early on, hopefully.
I mean, I think it should be above Navajo Sterling, but I'm with you. 2 years ago, this would have been scalding hot. You know, this would have been, I'm trying to think of like Elizabeth Hurley and Bedazzled hot.
Oh, wow.
Instead, this is just like, this is a tasty meal on a cold night hot. You know, it's a good hot, but it ain't the same. And then to close out the UFC card here, Alexia Tainara, is she on your fantasy team versus Bruna Brazil?
I think I didn't get her, and I think that killed me. I could be wrong. I know I definitely wanted Alexia Tainara on my list. Where's our fantasy league?
Tainara is with Guy this year.
No, wait, is that true?
Yeah, Tainara's with Guy.
I thought he has. Hold on. Am I looking at the wrong?
You might be looking at the previous season.
Okay, I thought we.
Tainara's with Guy.
Tainara's Guy. That hurts me, man. That hurts me because I do think she's going to be a future UFC champion. I think she just has it. I think she's going to be great. So, but that definitely makes this fight hot in my eyes. I want to know if she's for real. Bruna Brazil is a decent test, not a world beater. I'm not saying Tainara needs to run through her. It has to at least be like a convincing decision win. One of those fights where like I'm like, oh, she's clearly a step above this tier and needs to get a top 20 strawweight in her next fight. I don't know how many strawweights are in the UFC, but you know what I mean. Needs to step up in competition.
I'm going not. This is a cool one. It is a rematch. This is, I believe, Brazil's the first person to defeat Tainara in like her second MMA fight.
Correct.
She guillotined
Revenge.
her. So, there's a storyline. This is a Theseus's matchup, right?
Oh, we got to talk about this. Yes.
This is a proxy war, right? This is not the fight that was supposed to happen. Originally, this fight was Nicole Cagliari, who apparently may or may not have just been booked, against Carol Foro.
Yep.
Cagliari pulls out, is replaced by Stephanie Luciano. Foro is then replaced by Tainara, and then Luciano is then replaced. So we've got a lot of ship of Theseusing getting out here.
Crazy.
And I'm just not into proxy wars. I like my wars old fashioned, AK. Boots on the ground,
Yeah, this is a strange one. People in the chat tell me, is this fight still Nicole Cagliari versus Carol Faro? Ask yourself. You don't answer right away. Is it? You know what? Again,
Tainara is Foro.
This is the heart of this debate. Okay, guys. So when you go to sleep
I think it should go on both Foro's and Cagliari's resumes.
Okay.
Actually.
It's the same.
But only.
Yes.
But it only goes on Tainara or Brazil's resume if they win, right? So we're not punishing them for being the proxies here. So when Brazil loses, she doesn't pick up an extra loss. Nicole Cagliari does, though. So I think that's the most fair way to do it.
So this is the same ship, in your opinion. The ship is the same. We've swapped.
The ship is the exact
same.
Its
spirit is the same. Okay, I don't know how I feel about that. This is the first like really strange ship of Theseus or mutant matchup that I've seen in some time.
It's a real mutant matchup. AK, I've got one last hot or not for you. A little bit. I don't know if you saw this one coming. RAF7, AK, hot or not. Also going down tomorrow. That will be on Fox Nation that you can watch. Main event, the rematch between Arman Sarukian and Giorgio Poulas, which is happening because it's happening. Colby Covington, Dylan Dennis, and then a bunch of other very high-level, big name wrestlers. RAF7, AK, hot or not?
Covington Dennis is supposed to be happening in 24 hours?
Sure is.
No, it's not.
It's supposed to be.
This is
whether
still
it will or not, I don't know.
Scheduled as of now. It is on. Come on, I'm looking at
to the best of my knowledge, it is still a go.
That is crazy. Is this Milana Dudieva the MMA fighter? Oh, what the hell?
She is. She's like the worst. I mean, Dylan Dennis, but like Dudieva
honestly.
and Dennis are like the only two not good wrestlers. Everybody else in this card that is a wrestler is like at the minimum a national champion wrestler.
Yeah, the card is definitely hot. Now, let's be honest. I mean, that you could say we're rewarding a promotion for putting on like WWE style antics or like encouraging those antics. But yes, that was really a wild kind of fun thing to cover when Sarukian and Poulos went out the first time. And it wasn't even the main event that time. That was the Uriah. Was that the Uriah Cejudo, or that hasn't happened yet? It hasn't happened yet. What was it? It was right.
Not, I don't. Yes. That was that one because Cejudo's fighting Marab or wrestling Marab.
That's right. So that did happen, and we barely
hard
remember
to keep up with RAF.
It is, and they kept a good pace. Good for them. Good pace of shows. But we barely remember that because of the chaos that caused. So that's fun. If Dennis actually enters, I mean, honestly, could not care less about this guy ever competing. So I kind of feel the same way about Colby. But yeah, Kyle Day, Kyle Snyder, Bo Bassett. I know he's a lot of excitement around him. I'm really worried for Milana Dudieva's health. Wyatt Hendrickson, obviously there's going to be a Gable Stevenson call out, I imagine, if he's successful. So yeah, man, this is fun. There's a lot to look forward to here. I know, listen, I saw some people saying earlier it was a little surprising that like we have people boots on the ground in at REF 7 in Florida and not at UFC Seattle. I mean, there's a lot of reasons for that. Frankly, RF 7 is actually a pretty hot product right now. So yes, if we have to make coverage options, we're kind of revolving around this shiny new thing right now. It also helps that it's my best friend Mike Heck down there, not a long trip from where he lives to get down to Florida. So there's a little bit more of a geographical consideration as well, guys. And we're just sending poor Jose down there because we send him everywhere because he's a robot. So hopefully he's okay. But yes, that's why RF 7. So hot, Jed.
Definitely hot. So we're clear. I know y'all at home don't care about this, but this is going to do the most interest for us of the weekend, almost certainly, based on how the first Arman Poulos went. AK, very briefly, we don't have to focus too much on this. I know we're primarily an MMA show and thing, but just quickly, do you anticipate some shenanigans either with Sarukian and Poulos or Colby and Dennis, or both. You know, Colby is a new man apparently, so maybe he's less shenanigan full. But do you think something will be curious in Tampa? Whatever, I don't know what arena they're in tomorrow.
Yeah, some weird's gonna happen. Okay, definitely in the main event, probably in the co-main if that fight even happens. I don't know. Pat Downey could do something crazy. Like RAF, it's stopping short of like actually. Well short, I should say, stopping well short of being like a pro wrestling promotion. Like I know Eric Bischoff's involved, so anytime something funny happens, there's a lot of like, oh, it's the old WCW guy, WWE. Like, is he, I think he encourages it. I don't think there's actual gears like in motion being set by the organizers for this. Like, oh, let's do a brawl here and this stuff. I hope not, anyway. Because I don't want to blur those. Guys, I love pro wrestling, but I don't want to blur the lines that much. I think it's a little funny. So yes, but shenanigans will happen. There's a lot of prideful, competitive people here, and yes, almost assuredly in the last two fights, especially the second one, if it actually goes down, some real dumb is going to happen in that co-main event.
I think the co-main event is less likely to have something real dumb. I think Dennis is going to get tech falled, and in the process, he's going to try and guillotine Colby.
Of course.
But in the main event, like they're just going to hit each other. Like my best guess is that the main event does not have a resolution because like they're just going to fight again because the last time they fought, they got paid more money to do it again. So they're just going to do that again.
Yeah.
Which is a little bit grimy, but it is what it is. It's going to do numbers for traffic. AK, last thing before we get to the peeps. There is a third event, and I did intentionally put it number 3. I'm sorry if you were at home watching. Hopefully you watched yesterday Executives to hear the wonderful ideas that me and Mike Heck, again, put us on payroll. We'll save your product. The PFL is back in action tomorrow night. I know what you're thinking. Man, they finally chose to do an event on a Saturday. Yep. And they're doing it almost directly head to head with both UFC and RAF. That is probably not going to go great for them for a number of reasons, but I'm not in charge of them. Okay. So it is PFL Pittsburgh. Johnny Eblen, the former middleweight champion, makes his return against the debuting Brian Battle. UFC cast off. I don't know what you call him. He left the promotion under very curious terms. Not curious, tough terms, missed weight a bunch, kind of was making problems. Went to DBX, had some mixed rules, weird bouts where he ran over people, and now he is, I think, essentially in a title eliminator in this main event at PFL Pittsburgh. So the question, AK, very simply, what's your interest level in the PFL card tomorrow night?
It's not super high. It's not even a bad card. I'm sorry to say it. It's just, and I think you're right. I think it's just because it's so far in the back of my mind with the other events we have going on. First off, someone asked how many Canadians are going to win on Saturday. You know what? Just one, and neither of the ones on the UFC card. Fred Dupress will beat Ethan Goss. There you go, guys. To open up, we'll get some Canadian success early in the night. Okay, from the very first fight of the card. Otherwise, listen, there's some intriguing veteran names on here. I think Ariane Lipsy da Silva, this is her first PFL fight, right? Yes. So there you go. PFL debut.
Sounds correct to me.
You mentioned RC. Yeah, still a talented guy. A bit of an odd departure from the UFC. Went out with a win, though he did miss weight in his last fight, and has won since. I think he's won a couple of fights on the regional scene. He is not being given an easy test at all. Alexei Pergand, a lot of expectations for this guy. Huge experience gap. I'm actually really curious to see how that one goes. But yeah, I don't know. Out of 10, just looking the card over now, I feel like Natan Schulte, he should be on the main. Like, why is Natan Schulte and an undefeated guy not on the main card? This is a bit strange. Maybe they'll reshuffle before tomorrow. I don't think so, though. So I'll go like 6. It's like a 6, Jed. I'll definitely look up the results after. Like, I'm curious about some of these winners. But I think there's no part of me that's like, oh, I need to have this on another screen while we're doing all the other business. Yeah, probably not. Sorry, guys.
I mean, that is just really tough.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm a piece of crap, all right? I say it in the comments, I'm a piece of crap.
We love you anyway, though, AK, so it's okay. I was trying to figure out over here how I could get an image onto the screen, and the answer is I don't know. Okay. So we're not going to put up an image, but I teased a little bit earlier, AK, and it's important that we know. Let me tell you, the news is only sort of breaking because we talked about it a little bit. It had been reported, frankly, by sources that I wasn't 100% confident in, but it is now being promoted. Misfits Boxing put out a post about 30 minutes ago. Beauty versus the Beast. Tommy Fury versus Eddie Hall, June 13th at the AO Arena in Manchester. Misfits Boxing doing the damn thing. AK, we don't have to spend too much time on this, but now that this is official, how excited are you? I mean, also, Beauty versus the Beast is A+ branding from Misfits.
I was not aware this was happening. I did not know until I just saw that announcement. I actually wasn't aware that this was something that was being talked about, because that is freaking genius. Like,
somebody reported it yesterday, like an outlet who we kind of trust, but who I wasn't 100% in. And I didn't see it literally anywhere else. And so we talked about it on BTL, but we weren't like certain. I feel a lot more confident now.
I'm really sad I missed the buzz. I'm just so late to the show. I'm reacting in real time now. And it's just, I don't know. I'm at a loss for words. But yeah, beautiful work from both their management teams. I mean, Eddie Hall had a lot of options. And I think there's stuff that came out. I think we thought, like, could they find a spot for him on the MVP MMA card? Apparently he had something better, because yes, Misfits. Okay, this is right. This is the Misfits Boxing I love too. None of this Misfits Pro stuff. Oh, they've got Deontay Wilder fighting under their banner. Nobody gives a shit. Come on. This is what we want. We want Beauty versus the Beast, Fury versus Hall. Obviously some sort of exhibition, right? And it can't be more than what, 3?
I would guess it's at both 6 rounds, but it's probably might be a 4-rounder.
There's no way it's 6. It can't be.
I mean, this is awesome. I just want to shout out everybody out here who's making jokes about, is Tommy the Beast like Eddie the Beast Hall? We can all acknowledge Tommy Fury is a handsome man. You know, there's a reason he was on Love Island, whatever. He's a handsome looking dude. So
Eddie Hall is also, I think, a handsome man. I'm just gonna say that. Like,
Eddie Hall is a terrifying man, not a beauty out of pure size.
Yes. He's not a beauty. I will say he's not. I would not describe Eddie Hall as beautiful.
But
so
he's too intimidating to be beautiful. You know, like, unless it's, you know, the only person who can pull that off is like Galadriel in Lord of the Rings, where she's like hot and terrifying. You know, Eddie Hall's not there. So, this is why you come to this channel, for Lord of the Rings and Moblin references. That's what I can bring to the freaking table.
Man said Galadriel.
Drop Galadriel on him, baby. Let's go. AK, that is all the major stuff from this weekend. We do have RAF presser going down in about 15 minutes. Granted, the early part's not super important, so we don't have to, we don't have a hard out, but we are going to get out of here fairly soon. But before then, y'all know what time it is. It is time to answer your questions. I've been keeping track of several already, but firemen, we'll get to them as best we can. Super chats, of course, get priority. And but I've got a few other tagged, but let's get to the super chats right out of the rip here. And the first one from Wade Sedlace. I apologize if that's not remotely correct. Appreciate the content. Wanted y'all's thoughts on the whole Tom Aspinall situation. I'm a fan, but I feel like Tom's the type of guy to get a haircut and call it hair surgery. Is he fighting in 2026?
Yes, he's fighting in 2026. It'll be the end of the year. It'll be obviously against the Pereira Gone winner. So I think I'm very confident it'll happen like November, December, something like that. I don't know. I'm not a fan of like questioning the injuries or like, is he just kind of milking this whole situation? I think fans maybe just aren't used, and maybe he shouldn't be so open with things. But yes, to someone kind of providing so many updates about what's going on with him, I think they feel it's like performative, and maybe it is. I'm not above like make that accusation. Like, sure, he's sharing these things for a reason. Him and his team are sharing these things for a reason, right? There's a calculated effort, but that doesn't mean they're fake, right? So I think we're much more used to someone having an injury and just disappearing for like 6 months, and then doing some big interview run later and doing it that way. He's kind of just being front and center, and apparently drawing a mixed reaction. Like, I think some people are just seeing maybe too much of it, getting too much information. But yeah, for me, I just kind of take these things at face value for the most part, unless I hear otherwise. He says it's legit. Eyes are very sensitive. And also, he's looking out for himself, which is another thing I think fans aren't always used to. They're like, oh, this fighter should shake this off and get back ASAP. Well, no. Fortunately for him, I think he's financially pretty stable, and he doesn't have to make that choice. So if that's the case, then more power to him. Stay out as long as he needs to, and hopefully he gets to come back and really, really have that earnest run at the top of the division. There's plenty of time for that to happen, and hopefully we just look back at this and kind of like just shake our heads, you know?
Yeah, I think in general you should just believe fighters when they say, because him not fighting hurts him.
Yes.
So
what does he gain? Right? What does he gain? Is the question, right?
Yeah. You know, I don't think he handled the PR part of this as well as he could have. Frankly, I think that was he has taken some missteps here, 100%. But broadly speaking, I believe he got poked in the eyes. I believe he's had long-term eye injury that hopefully is getting sorted, and I do think he will be fighting before the end of the year. So. Shout out to you, Wade, for that question. Quick one from Chase here, just joining now. Jed, you look like a creep. I shaved. That's rude. I'm sorry.
Like, is he going to read those? Like, did he screen these? I was like, because I saw that a long time ago. Like,
gotta do it. Gotta put them out there. From Nick.
Don't say that. You are saying that people have a carte blanche, that we are like monkeys who repeat anything we see. If someone gives us
not
99 cents Canadian on.
Look, if you're going to come at me, that's fine. I don't really care. If you come at you, I might have some issues, and there are certainly some lines, but people can say whatever they want about me. Mostly, I don't really care. From Nick VCC, Ozzy Chiesa gets the legend treatment like Anthony Smith for his retirement on Saturday, AK.
Oh, 98%. 98%. I'll be surprised.
Wow, that's high. Okay.
The video package is ready, man. The video package is ready. They had one for the Karate Hottie, Michelle Watterson. They had one for Anthony Smith. Anthony Smith, arguably like the most accomplished of this bunch. He at least fought for the UFC title. Chiesa never quite got there. Michelle Watterson never quite got there. He's in Seattle. He's in Washington, his hometown. He's like Anthony Smith. He's already part of the broadcasting team. Like there's this in-house love for him. And he's had, I think, a memorable career. That doesn't mean he's a Hall of Famer. I don't think he should be a Hall of Famer. I don't think Anthony Smith should either, for being honest. Michelle Watterson probably not either. If they make it, whatever, fine. I don't care. But should they be commemorating the moment? Yeah, and I think they should do that more for fighters in general. It's a fun thing to do. What is wrong with celebrating fighters? It doesn't mean we're like, oh, are you saying Michael Chiesa is as good as GSP or Anderson Silva? Literally, no one is saying that. Just this man has put in blood, sweat, and tears in his company, and they like him, and the timing has worked out for him to retire in his hometown and to be able to announce a retirement fight ahead of time. So yeah, he's gonna get it, and good for him.
Yeah, I do think the legend is too much, and Anthony Smith isn't a legend and shouldn't be called it. If they call Chiesa a legend, it's just like whatever. You know, you could at least qualify it and be like Seattle legend or what. Like that would be better. But I am all for giving guys on retirement tours a good send off in a hometown location with a winnable fight, giving him a video package. I'm not opposed to it. I do think we should maybe use our words a little more carefully.
That's true. I should have answered that a little more literally. Yes. All the fighters I just mentioned, by the way, I would not refer to as legends.
Yeah, exactly. But it's fine to get them over on the way out.
Yeah,
I love that. That's awesome.
Yes.
But I love fighters, support fighters. So,
but yeah, I agree, guys. Yes, we should not be gaslit into like, oh, you don't think Michael Chiesa is a legend? Okay, that's probably a step too far. That's probably
we definitely don't need to call Michael Chiesa a legend,
and that's okay. It sounds like this is like in Tenenbaums when it's like, what do you mean when you're saying I'm not a genius? It's like it's a weird thing. It's like, no, I don't mean it as an insult. It's kind of a weird thing to say.
Correct.
Like, it's just a certain designation. Right?
I've taken to calling him Iman Shumpert because he's had a good career and he parlayed that into being like a talking head, but like nobody would be like the Knicks legend Iman Shumpert. They'd be like, oh, okay, this is Iman Shumpert. That guy kind of was famous for a minute and had some good moments.
Iman also won an NBA title with the Cleveland Cavaliers, and
he did, but was how integral to that? I mean, he was a part.
And he won Dancing with the Stars. I believe he is the only NBA champion. Okay. I believe he's the only NBA and Dancing with the Stars champion. I could be wrong.
I did not know he won Dancing with the Stars.
Well, it changes everything, doesn't it? It changes everything.
That actually does. He's elevated above Chiesa. Though maybe Chiesa goes on a Dancing with the Stars run. Maybe he goes to Survivor. You don't know.
You don't know.
From Hike Heck, AK, can we expect a tough season 10 watch along?
Oh my gosh. Hike,
That's a members only sort of thing.
I know, Hike. I appreciate the super chats, of course, always. I do not want you to waste your hard-earned, was that euros, chasing this, because I just don't know if we have the time for it. I would love to do it if I were ever to do any season of Ultimate Fighter. Certainly, it would be season 10. I think it's just so entertaining and historically important in some ways. So I don't know. Will it happen? I don't know. I would love to. It's definitely a passion thing, but I'm not making any promises. I'm so sorry.
We got to start finding ways to do very silly things like that for the members. Just like not super often. Once a month is probably too much, but every couple of months we throw them some sort of I've already been thinking about a way to do something like that for Damn They Were Good. So we will see. Got a bunch of other comments I just starred throughout the show that I do want to get to. Just one, because I think this is great. Cutie versus the Beast. That does feel actually better than saying Beauty versus the Beast.
Okay.
So shout out, She Loves the Gloves on that one.
Very good.
Also from She Loves the Gloves, back to our Grasso conversation. This is a take I've been sort of putting out there. Have we considered Grasso was good but not great? Her win over Val is a cool case of capitalizing on a champ's tendencies that were discovered in tape study, but she wasn't able to recreate that success. AK, this is actually basically my exact take. Is that Grasso went on a very good run and is a good fighter, like a great fighter, but not like a elite level fighter. And she's just sort of come back to the middle. But where do you stand on that?
This is going to sound so negative. I just do feel like we are a bit in an era where you only need to be good and not great to become a UFC champion. Because it used to be a pretty clear designation. If you won a UFC title, oh, you are in the great tier. And I just don't know if that's the case anymore. I mean, listen, I'm going to throw some shade out here to some names and just bear with me. Like, do we think when we're looking back on this someday, are we going to say Jack Della Maddalena was great? Are we going to say Sean Strickland was great? Yes, you can, but not in the same way we say, and I know I keep bringing up these names, Anderson Silva, George St. Pierre, BJ Penn. Like, these are, like, I don't know. I view these guys great in a different way. And I'm not taking away from Sean Strickland and Jack Della Maddalena and Alexa Grasso. But it is different now. It is different. The requirements, like again, even getting a title shot seems more about timing now than necessarily how good you are. Look at Movsar Evloev. Diego Lopez, we'll look back and, oh, wow, he got 2 title shots. I don't know if anyone would say Diego Lopez is a great fighter. Like, he's good. He's good. So I think that's an awesome question, because I think the needle has moved a little bit as far as like what the standard is to be a UFC champion. And I know that sounds really harsh, but it's true. And I have a feeling a lot of fans feel the same way. Mackenzie Dern's a UFC champion. And I mentioned that, Jed. And I mentioned that, Jed, because I want to say that's the example of being great is what I meant. That's why I bring Mackenzie Dern up.
I don't understand the point.
She's in the Chuck Liddell, John Jones tier is what I'm saying, of champions. That's what I meant to say.
You're correct. Okay. Good take. You lost me in the middle, but you stuck the end.
That's a little drama there.
Yeah. I mean, this just happens in every sport. There are, like, look at the NFL. The Giants weren't like the 12th best team, but they went hot. You get a hot goalie in the playoffs. Like, sometimes this happens. And if you're one of the lucky fighters, that's awesome. You get to be a champion forever. Matt Serra is a UFC champion forever. These things happen. I do think Grasso is in that sort of tier, but she's still young enough. She could prove me wrong, get back to the belt. We'll find out on Saturday. A little on that sort of same fight, when I pull this from our friend Joseph Bosa, if Alexa wins, does that lock down Natty Ice as the next challenger for Valentina Shevchenko? AK, I'll just go very quickly here. It doesn't matter what happens on Saturday. Natalia Silva is the next challenger for Valentina Shevchenko.
Yeah, same. I have nothing to add to that. If she does not fight Valentina next, this is just stupid. This is stupid.
This one from our buddy Dave Sandine, who has already given 10 subs. He'll donate another 5, AK, if one of the hosts, either you or me, knows Navajo Sterling's government name without looking it up.
The crazy thing is, I just looked it up. Like, I was literally just looking at Navajo Sterling's topology page as we were talking about him, and I do not remember.
So I sort of know it, and by that, what I mean is, I know that it's not Navajo. And it's like, it's not. And anything I say there probably just would be better for my career to not say. It is a very long, complicated name that I could not fathom the right lettering or guess pronunciation. So, Dave, you do not need to give 5 subs, but go look it up on Tapology. Actually, I'm on Tapology right now. AK, Navajo Sterling's government name is Rongotahingia. Rongotahingia, Navajo Hunter Sterling. Could have never pulled that out of
Nope.
thin air. So, question to that from our buddy Daniel Forrest. Well, never mind, because I accidentally got rid of it instead of clicked it. So sorry about that, Daniel. It wasn't that important. It was, but
send again if you're still here.
If you want to send again, we'll go. Also from She Loves the Gloves, I did just want to point this out because this gave me a little bit of pause earlier this week, AK. I don't know if you saw this. Eugene Behrman gave an interview where he said he wanted Izzy to retire until the Nasruddin Imavov fight. But that made him reconsider because of how well Adesanya did in the opening round of that. That feels like the wrong takeaway from that fight to me, man.
I mean, I had to imagine, Eugene also knows that Izzy doesn't want to retire, right? I think they probably had a chat after, and there has to be. He was instructed to take the positives from it, and again, it was a competitive fight up until the younger guy caught the older guy, and someone said it was an early stoppage. So you can't, if you want, that may be Eugene's take as well. And that's probably what allows you to get the motivation to just put him up on the saddle one more time. But I'm with you, Jed. Like, a loss is a loss, and you just have to look at some of these other great fighters who have gone on losing streaks to end their careers, and you can map like, oh well, this positive happened in this fight, maybe next one, and then but still the next fight, and it goes on 6 or 7 straight times. Hopefully, Izzy doesn't hit that number.
Just a few more and then we will get out of here because their Forrest put it back in. So we'll do Forrest now since he just put it back in. Question for Jed and the birthday boy, smiling AK Lee. Happy birthday, AK, by the way. There's an AK happy birthday AK emote if you guys want to throw that in the chat right now for all the members. Only 38% of fights have been finishes this year. Is it the gloves? Thoughts?
It's definitely not the gloves. It is the quality of the matchups, guys. I think we need to be clear when we're criticizing matchup quality. It is not we're not saying like all the fighters who are put on these cards are just like super bad, which is the problem. Is some of the people they're putting on are not bad enough. If you guys like look at highlights in the regional scene, just follow like Rebecca Hitman on Twitter. Okay, follow Caposa.
Oh hell yeah! I mean, you should absolutely just be doing that anyway.
I don't know why you wouldn't be. And he's putting crazy finishes from across the globe. Brella La Pierna, another great Twitter account, always posting great finishes, just cultivating these finishes. And a lot of those fights happen because one guy is very good, and the person they're fighting is very bad. And the UFC is not quite at that level yet. Every now and then we see that. I mean, we just saw a sacrifice with Iwo and Austin Lane. Like that. That's the kind of shit that is happening in the regional scene like 8 or 9 times a show every weekend. Like that is just, and I would never want this UFC to go all the way in that direction. But if what you're looking for is more finishes, there's actually a very easy way for the UFC to manufacture that. And it's just kind of book more squash matches. They're so close because they are booking like some fights with poor fighters. So my thing is, if you're going to go that route, maybe just go like even a little tier lower and actually book like fights where one guy is minus 400 favorite, like just frequently, and just like smashing people. It's not an honest product. I guess that's the meanest way to put it. But if you want excitement, yes, you can manufacture it, and they're just not doing that right now. So I don't know. Mileage may vary. You guys might like it, prefer it this way. We're actually getting like mostly competitive bouts at the UFC level.
Yeah, and we're getting some squashes, but it's been a light year. Even fights that are set up to be squashes, like Mario Pinto, just aren't quite ending there. So I think it'll even out. We won't finish the year at this low percentage, but it has been 2026 been a tough start, quite frankly. So last couple of events have been better. Hopefully this one we talked about a lot. Looks like it might be fun. Hopefully so. We'll see if we get some finishes. Couple more. AK, I did not fact check this, but let's assume Cosmo Kramer 28 is lying to us when he says Quentin Tarantino was born 63 years ago. Favorite character from his movies and your favorite film?
That's hard. That's hard.
I mean, it's a lot of really good ones. I don't know if I've talked about this on air. Earlier or last year, they did a Kill Bill 1 and 2 double feature, The Whole Bloody Affair, with some new stuff in it, and went to see it with a couple of friends. One of my favorite movie going experiences of 2025. Was awesome. And I'm not even like the biggest Kill Bill fan, but altogether it rocked.
My favorite film, I mean, okay, listen, obviously everyone's going to go Pulp Fiction. Certainly one of my favorites. It's just hard to beat not the first, I mean, his huge breakthrough. And I love Reservoir Dogs too, but obviously Pulp Fiction was the big breakthrough. And it's aged very well. It's honestly aged amazingly well. There's so many movies to this day that still kind of try and follow that formula and succeed to varying degrees. But I think very close is like Inglourious Bastards. I love Inglourious Bastards so much. And it has like the best scene, I think, in any of his movies. I think the basement scene, you guys all know the basement scene in the bar is just filmmaking 101. It is so magical. Character. God, there's so many good ones. The guy who says, the bartender in Pulp Fiction who says, my name's Paul and this is between y'all. I don't know. Maybe him, just because I say that like
it's a really good one.
12 times a week. Like, I don't know why. He has a name too. I honestly cannot remember. Jed, go ahead. You say movie and character. I got to figure out character.
I think Bastards is his best film, and it's my favorite film of his. I understand that Pulp Fiction is probably like the one that goes on the top of the obituary whenever he passes. But I honestly, just about every Death Proof is the only one of his movies that I'm like, on, like very ambivalent towards. It's just a great career, but I think Bastards is, and I think this is intentional, but the end of Bastards where it's like, Yudovich, this might be my masterpiece, is him speaking very openly, which I believe is correct, where it's just like, you say it has the best scene in all of his films. I'd say it has the best too. I think the bar scene and the opening scene, the introduction scene is perfect filmmaking. But I mean, the bar scene, I'm sure that there are other, you can quibble. This is a taste thing. For my money, well, if this is it, old boy, at least I'll go out speaking the kings, is the sort of line that you would like, I would give my like foot to write. It is just iconic. So Bastards is the clear winner of film. I like all the films. Even Once Upon a Time has grown on me. I did not love it the first time I saw it. I liked it, but like I love all the films. But Bastards is the one I like the most, and it's not particularly close. My favorite character versus his best character is. That's also a really tough call, AK. Because like I think his best character. I'm pulling up to see in case something's jumping off. I think Hans Landa is his best character. And it's weird to call Hans Landa your favorite character though. Dr. King Schultz is also great. Django, also great.
So many great characters. The Bride. You just
Bride's not really his character, kind of is his character based on the book. Jackie Brown. I'll go Hans Landa because I do think it's his best character. I don't know if it's my favorite, but it is his best. So,
yeah, I'll give a shout out to Bill as well. I think the character of Bill is so like in R.I.P. David Carradine, because I'm like you. I didn't get to watch what's it called? What's the merged film?
The Whole Bloody Affair.
Yeah, I need to see that. I've never seen it.
Strongly there's some new stuff, and it had been so long since I saw the Kill Bills that I was like, did I just forget that this part happened? And then you realize afterwards that like he wrote new stuff and put it in, and it kind of works. And it works so well that you're like, man, I wish there was more of this, frankly. Highly recommend seeing The Whole Bloody Affair if it's available to you.
I'm seeing Rob Thomas as Joe Gage. Oh, R.I.P. Michael Madsen, so good. Cosmo Kramer, Calvin Candy. Calvin Candy's hilarious. I can never stop saying what does he say? You had my attention. Oh, now you have my curiosity. You had my curiosity.
You have my curiosity. Now you have my attention. That's one that I say all the time.
Amazing
as well.
One. Max Bravkin. My full first name is Maximilian. Yeah. Oh, Maximilian. Oh, what a great name.
I'm changing my mind. Hans Landa is, I think it's probably his best character, but I probably spend the most time thinking and or quoting or just putting on the affect of Lieutenant Aldo Rain.
Oh gosh.
Buongiorno.
He's from Kansas. Oh, you're from, that's the same thing, right? Kansas and Georgia. That's the same thing, right?
Basically, he's not from Kansas. He's from Kentucky, isn't he? Or West Virginia.
Sorry, Kentucky.
One of those
West,
two. But yeah, it's much closer than Kansas.
But yeah, I just want to say I like Bill a lot. Like I know when we talk about the great villains, of course, we think Hans Landa and some other guys. I actually think Bill is kind of underrated. And I just love he's also kind of a misunderstood character. I think people think he's cool in some ways and like they relate to some of his speeches. And I actually think he's like one of the purest villains. And I think Tarantino meant it that way. And it's just funny to me that like people kind of like, oh, he's kind of a cool, mysterious guy. Like, oh, some of these things he says make sense. And it's like, no, when you look at it from the perspective that he's the villain, you realize how stupid and like evil some of the things he's saying are. But he's played in such a charismatic way. Again, much like Hans Landa, that it's really engaging. But yeah, if you next time you guys are watching Kill Bill, I mean, I know we all like that role, but give Bill some extra love. What a piece of crap. What a piece of crap Bill is.
Piece of crap. Kill Bill, awesome. Pulp Fiction, obviously iconic and terrific.
Oh, people are saying in the chat, Gorlami. It's so good. So good.
I mean, quite frankly, I'm tickled to hear you say that. Oh, man. Great film. Great career. And then I want to close it out with a pair of fun ones from our dear friend, Lazy Bet MMA. We'll do the bigger one and we'll end on the shallow one here. The first one, breakfast cereal Mount Rushmore, AK. This is a real Jose coded question.
Yeah, I'm pretty basic. I mean, I think Cinnamon Toast Crunch, my favorite, number one. It's got to be on there.
CTC, absolutely on there.
So good. Such a great late night snack. I'm a big Frosted Flakes guy. Like I said, really basic, but I'm a big fan. I think it goes with a lot of things too. Love throwing on some Frosted Flakes. I've really gotten into, oh gosh, what's the cereal I'm eating now? Like Harvest Crunch. You ever have Harvest Crunch, Jed?
Oh, no.
It's kind of like, they're supposed to be healthy. There's no healthy breakfast cereal. There's no such thing. It's supposed to be healthier because there's like almonds in it. So that's an old man pick right there. Oh, and mini wheats. There you go. Big mini wheat guy.
Hey, mini wheats is a good choice.
Oh gosh, no, I'm forgetting. I'm bumping off Harvest Crunch. I'm sorry. American version of Corn Pops.
So you guys have a different version? Pops rock.
You guys don't know. You guys have awesome Corn Pops. Like little nugget flavored things. They're just like balls up here. They're just like these plain balls, orbs, and they're fine, but they're not like American versions. So if you guys are ever coming up to to Canada from the United States, please bring me a box of Americans. Risk bringing that contraband across the border for your boy. Yeah.
Next time I come up, I'll do it. Two obvious ones: CTC. I think Honey Nut Cheerios. You got to go with those two. My old man one and a corner I will stand on forever that I catch flack for. I think Raisin Bran is awesome. I love Raisin Bran. It's raisin and corn and cornflakes. It's great. And the last spots, it's a tougher one. You could make an argument for a lot of them. I am going to go with Captain Crunch, but if you want to put that last spot with Lucky Charms, because I loved Lucky Charms as a kid. I don't love it as an adult, but as a kid, God, I loved Lucky Charms. Anything else there, I'm not. A lot of people do Reese's Puffs, but that's not me. Not me. But yeah, that's my 4. And AK, before we get out of here, so we can focus on the RAF press conference that our dear compatriots are at, one final question from our dear friend Lazy Bed. What is the superior hoodie? Zip up or pullover, AK?
Well, am I wearing a pullover right now? Is this a pullover?
That's yes, that's a pullover.
Okay. Probably zip up, right? Just for the versatility. Am I missing something obvious here? I definitely like zip ups. Like it just feels easier to like, oh, I'm ready to, you have more options, I feel like, with a zip up. But maybe I'm wrong.
No, I agree. I have a couple of pullover hoodies at this point now, but like hoodies in that regard, but no, zip up's just a jacket with a hood on it, which makes it it's better, because you know what a zip up can also be a pullover if you want it to. You can just leave that zipped all the way to the top, so you got more flexibility. So zip up all day. But I do love hoodies. I mean, this shirt right here, let me throw my hood up, AK. I've got a hood attached into this shirt as well. So you've muted yourself. I don't know how you've done that, but I need
I
you to
just
unmute
said I
yourself.
like. Trust me, if I'm muted, I was just saying, nodding and saying I like it. That's all. I was not adding to the conversation.
Well, good. Because the conversation, it's at an end, AK. And so let me figure out where our exit music is. I think this is it. Right here. It, well, or preview shows, but you know, it can work. Our BTL music can be the end music for us. So AK, that was our discussion about everything this weekend, UFC Seattle, etc. Tell the people what our coverage plan is, because I don't remember it off the top of my head.
Is there going to be a pre-fight Q&A?
There is going to be a pre-fight Q&A. I think at 4:30 tomorrow is the time we're looking at. And
then you and me are probably going to try and do the post-fight show at some point.
You and me and doing the post-fight show, but that is, I think we have a video scheduled for like midnight. Entirely up in the air. I don't know if we'll go in the middle of PFL. It's a question. So
we don't want to interrupt PFL, Jed, with its 10 p.m. main card start time.
It's a real late start time.
We don't want to interrupt that.
Which is a real choice they've made. We don't know about the post show, but we'll have a post show. We'll have a pre-fight Q&A. We'll most importantly have all the coverage, including boots on the ground at RAF with our very own Mike Heck. So keep it locked to MMAfighting.com, our YouTube, our website, our socials. Check out all of those. Check out AK. Thank you all for tuning in. Let me figure out how to get the media assets for us to leave here. And we're going to say goodbye. See y'all tomorrow. Love y'all.